Well, I think I found the best location to do the intro right now. My name is Harry. This is my channel, Future Shock Digital. I'm here in Bali, Indonesia, just on holiday. And I've got the Laowa 4mm 2.8 lens, Circular Fisheye. Let's give it a spin. Let's go.
Ooh, good.
So growing up in the 90s, if you're Gen X like me, it was all about extreme sport, X-Files, X-Men, everything was X. When it came to extreme sports, it was all about the fisheye lens. From Thrasher Magazine, Daily Bread magazine, fisheye reigned supreme. There was no question of bokeh, no one cared about bokeh. People only wanted to see the gator and the environment, right? To see the full length of the rail, to see how high the gap was. That's where fisheye became its own thing. Tiba Jefferson here in Thrasher Magazine pretty much pioneered the fisheye look ever since back in the day. But this is not a typical fisheye lens, and that's one of the things I didn't quite understand going into it. This is a circular fisheye. Not the whole image circle is actually going to capture light. There's going to be dark edges around the side, and that is something you have to kind of work around. On a full frame camera, the image circle is even smaller. This is a APS-C fisheye lens rather than a full frame. So this is what you need to do. When you mount it on a full frame, you can put it in APS-C mode. That will crop in and then you'll get that image, but it'll still be a circle. Using the Sony A7 III, you can zoom in using clear image zoom, because the image that is captured in 4K is actually a 6K image, and then you can downscale that to 4K. So you're not stuck with that circle. This is in video mode, by the way, which means you can get great 4K footage. That's what I've done for most of these shots. Most of these shots I've cropped in a bit because I find that the fisheye effect, the circular fisheye effect, is a little bit too extreme. Because you're cropping in, and because the image circle, you have large black borders, and because the lens is a manual lens, you're not getting any information from the lens to the camera. The camera doesn't know that those black borders are not necessarily part of the image. When it comes to auto exposure, what's happening is that the camera sees all that darkness on the edges and it says, oh, well, we've got to boost up the image. So you might end up getting very overexposed images and videos. So make sure you dial your exposure compensation down. So exposure compensation should be about a stop or two down to avoid any highlights. So the lens can open up to 2.8, which is great. So you can get, you can even get some bokeh, although I don't think that's the point of this lens. With 2.8, you can get some better low light capturing. However, that 2.8 is actually an APS-C mode, which means it's actually doubled, right? So, you know, 5.6 is nothing really to write home about. But that's not really the issue. There is an issue with the aperture. The issue is that the highest the aperture can go, which is f16, doesn't give you great shutter speeds in video mode. So as you know, the Sunny 16 rule, right now it's not sunny, but the Sunny 16 rule says that if it's a sunny day, if you shoot at f16 at a shutter speed of 100, you'll be able to shoot at 100 ISO. The issue with that is that in video mode, that means that your shutter speed is going to be 100. So, you know, close down your aperture to f16 and raise up your shutter speed. Which the problem with that is that then you end up in GoPro territory, where you have high shutter speeds and things look very stuttery. Are people going to care? Are people going to notice? Honestly, I don't think it's that much of an issue, and I've been shooting that way this entire trip. Have you noticed? Did you care? I don't think so. If you wanted the footage to be, say, for something more cinematic, then that might be an issue. You cannot get your shutter speed at 1/50th of a second. You can get gel filters which sit on top of the sensor, but I think that might be more overkill than for what this lens is worth. Image quality, I don't see the point of even talking about image quality. Sure, I get some flares here Sure, I get chromatic aberration here or there on the edges, but what issue is that there are some interesting shots that you can do. The nostril shot is quite an interesting one. You just hold the camera here and then walk and talk, you got a nostril shot. Do you think that will catch on? I don't know. The feet shot is a pretty good one. Side face shot. Nostril shot again. Above shot. I really like the above shot that I did with the grab driver. So the best way to get around Ubud is definitely using the Grab app or the Gojek app. Pretty much like Uber, except with motorbikes. Also, it's a good way to get some shots. So with the lens, I can shoot things very close. It's got quite a great minimal focusing distance. So from the back of the Grab, I can get a shot of the Grab driver, of myself. It started raining. It is the rainy season, so I had to quickly pack up and leave. So I've disconnected my mics, but I just want to say a few more things. One thing is, yes, on a full frame camera, the grip is visible. On my APS-C Sony 6500, that grip wouldn't be visible, but on this camera, it is right there. You probably want to mount this on an APS-C regardless of the full frame cropping mode. So this is an example of pointing it straight up and you can still see the ground. So the question is, can you vlog with a 4mm lens? So I'm going to take you on a quick trip around to my favorite spots in Ubud and I'm going to try vlog with this lens. So let's go. So this is probably my favorite place in Ubud. This is the blink and you'll miss it entrance to Yoga Barn. The entrance is just here. There we go, blink and you miss it. So Yoga Barn seems to be the yoga HQ of Ubud. This is the main place. This is the place that is most well known. This is the place that you'll probably end up at if you're interested in yoga. There are other yoga schools which I'll show you. However, this one's the most interesting. My second place to do yoga in Ubud is Alchemy Yoga. So the benefit is, as it's on the edge of town, for me it's a little bit easier to get to. So we've got a restaurant here just across the road, not open at the moment, but it's pretty much packed in the evening time. So for dinner you might struggle to get a seat from about 6 o'clock. It is smaller, but it's a lot more intimate. And I think that's what makes it quite special. Sayuri's is probably the most popular vegan restaurant in Bali. It is completely packed, as you can see there. It's pretty much packed from 6 p.m. all the way till 8 p.m. Hopefully it'll start getting less, but it's definitely one of the most popular vegan restaurants and one that I thoroughly recommend. As you could tell, it's very much in quite an interesting part of town. So this is me in a voiceover because it was raining at that time. Paradiso Ubud used to be known as Down to Earth Cafe. Now it's just Paradiso. It is a boutique cinema with a attached restaurant, vegan restaurant. The cinema plays a interesting selection of movies. I highly recommend it. So if you're in town and you want to get away from everything, you want some peace and quiet, some nature, some rice fields, try the Sweet Orange Walk Trail. Okay, I know it looks super weird, super dodgy going through this tiny little alleyway, but just trust me, the payoff is quite worth it. What I like about this is that firstly it's right off the road of Jalan Raya Ubud, so it's right in town. But it's a rare public space that you get where you can see the beauty of rice fields and such. Quite the view. Yep, told you. One heck of a view. That is incredible. So that's it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. In my next video, it will be my vlog of my colon hydrotherapy, where I go into every minute detail. Here's a quick sneak preview. I'd always wanted to try it out. And with my midlife crisis on the horizon, I thought now would be the best opportunity. It was time to let go. It was time to release all my baggage that I was carrying with me. It was time to say no. A big part of growing up is learning to let go. It was my time now to let it all out, to be a conduit for the universe.